Started. So, how's everybody doing in this crazy world of ours right now? Surviving. Hopefully, everyone's staying healthy. We miss you guys like crazy. We can't wait to get back. Chad's kind of been all over the place doing deliveries, which we absolutely love. We see everyone's kind of sticking with it, has your own goals for the quarantine, regardless of how long it is. But anyways, well, it's 10:03. I want to be mindful of everybody's time, so I'm going to get started. I know some wanted to hop on later and check it out because they were busy with kids and things this morning. But I wanted to jump on and share kind of really my fitness journey with you guys. I know some of you know some of it. I know some of you know none of it. And so I'm excited. I'm excited to share with you guys everything that kind of we've been through. So really, I would have to say we kind of like lost our way probably, after kids are born, you get, consumed, you have, you're dealing with babies. And in 2010 is really when we kind of started going on a downfall. That's when I started my doctorate program in educational leadership, and that took me 3 years. And so over those 3 years, we really kind of just stopped working out. We stopped eating right and really didn't even know how to eat right when we were competitive athletes in college. We really just focused on our sport, how we could get better on our sport, and really didn't embed ourselves in health and fitness at that time either. And in 2013, when I finished my doctorate program, it was kind of strange how everything happened. My mom ended up having her first heart attack in 2013, and that was really a wake-up call for me and for Chad. At this time, our kids were about 5 and 6 years old. It made us realize that if we didn't start doing something about ourselves in our life, then we would end up, being in my mom's situation where we have a heart attack shortly after she turned 50 years old. So that really kicked us into gear. And my sister-in-law had sent me a Groupon, and it was about something called the camp. And at this time, the camp didn't have challenges. They had just started a couple years before, but still were really a startup company. And so what I did was I said, you know what, let's do it. I did it with my sister-in-law. We signed up on a 6-week Groupon. After the third day, I was literally sitting in my bathtub, and I looked at Chad and I started crying, and I just said, I can't do this. My body hurt. Every single thing in my entire body was sore. And at that time, I didn't know the difference between really being sore and being injured. So I felt like I was injured. That's how sore I was. And so Chad, being the awesome person that he is, really supported me and said, you know what, you committed to it for 6 weeks. You're going to stick with it. And really at the time, my goal was to only work out 3 days a week. It wasn't, hey, I want to work out 5-6 days a week and really immerse myself. I just want to get back into shape because I knew I had fell off a little bit. I don't know where my phone went, but I actually had a picture to show you guys. I'll post it later. And the picture I'm going to post in the comments was really probably about 3 or 4 months before I started the gym. And when I started the camp, I didn't even think that I really needed to lose weight. It was more so, hey, I want to get back into shape. And I really didn't think much about like losing weight or losing body fat. It was just really getting back into shape because the doctors had said my mom never worked out. We ate poor our whole life. My parents were, working parents, worked, 10 to 14-hour days every day of the week, ate a lot of fast food and things like that growing up. So it was mainly just to get in shape. I thought I needed to work out. So I after the 6 weeks on the Groupon, I had fallen in love probably after about 3 weeks. Ended up surpassing my goal of working out 3 days a week, started working out about 5 days a week, and came to Chad and said, hey, I really want to join now. And he goes, okay, what's the cost? And when I told him it was $147 as a monthly membership, he about died. He didn't understand why it was so much. His membership at his gym was $30 a month. And it was one of those things that, we talked and we had a conversation. And I said, this is going to hold me accountable. And he supported it. I was very lucky and fortunate to have a husband that would support paying that because it is different. But for me, I need other people to work out with. I need to, commit to, myself for that 1 hour, not have to think about my workouts. It's already set up for me. And it was an environment I was loving. So it wasn't until about 2014 I really did my first challenge. And it was actually the first accountability challenge that the camp ever had. And that's really when I started learning about how to eat healthy, how to, work out the right way, making sure you're keeping your heart rate up, doing, a little bit of elite training within the accountability team I was on. And that really, really showed me the way. And at that time, I really still didn't think I had that much, weight to lose or body fat. And in that 4 weeks of that accountability challenge, I ended up losing about 11 pounds, and I lost 5.2% body fat in 4 weeks. And I was shocked. I had no idea that, if you increase your metabolism by eating, 6 meals a day and working out consistently, how quickly you really could lose weight if you're eating the right way. So it was in about 2015 that Chad and I started OCR training. So at this time, I was still a member of the camp. I got Chad to run our first OCR with a group from the camp, which it was called Epic Series. I know some of you out there have ran the Epic Series OCRs, but we ran that first one, and it was only 3 miles, and we thought we were going to die. We still were not in great shape. We had been working out consistently, but not really doing, much more than just camp classes for me, and Chad just going to the, natural big box gym and lifting, heavy. And so we really fell in love with that. It gave us more to look forward to. It gave us goals, to reach each time we were working up toward, training for the OCR. And that really taught us how to train for races. It was probably in about September of 2015, I walked into a nail salon and I sat next to the owner of the camp in Long Beach. They had just opened, and she lived in our neighborhood. And I just started talking to her about how she went through the process of opening a camp. And at the time, Chad had just finished his master's degree in business, and his emphasis was entrepreneurship. So he was working in the corporate world, but really trying to figure out what type of business he wanted to open. And in talking with Stephanie, she's actually not the owner there anymore, but in talking with Stephanie Lombardi at that point, it kind of made sense for us to really start to think about opening a camp. And so I got home from the nail salon, just sat and talked to her for about 40 minutes, while we were getting our nails done. And we were headed down to Palm Springs for my sister-in-law's 30th birthday. And literally, it was a 20-minute conversation between Chad and I. And he said, you know what, why don't you go ahead and email Sam right now and see if we can get in, with him for a meeting sometime next week. Within an hour, Sam had emailed us back and said, hey, how's Monday at 11 a.m.? So the following Monday, this was on a Friday, we went in and sat down and talked to Sam, the owner-creator of the camp, with Allie. And he explained the process. He explained how it would work. And we went home, and, he asked us to come up with 5 locations we were interested in, and Lake Elsinore being one of them. We picked Lake Elsinore, and we moved forward. And so fast forward, a couple months later, January 2019, we opened the Camp Lake Elsinore. We both were working full-time when we opened. I was working full-time at the college. Chad was working full-time in a corporate executive job. And 6 months after we opened our first one, Paris became available. We bought Paris. And then at that point, we really had to start thinking about who was going to leave their job. And this was like Chad's dream to be an entrepreneur, and it just made sense. So in October of 2016 is when Chad left his full-time 6-figure job 100% to really focus on the 2 gyms that we had. And so that was really like a risk that we took, and it was really life-changing, but it's been the best decision we ever made of our lives. Chad could, focus more on the camp. I could, focus more on what was going on in terms of my full-time position and the kids, and working together, we've made it work. So it was strange because in June of 2017, the following year, I get this email from Chad when I'm at work, and it says, literally, quote, we are buying Menifee and we are moving to Canyon Lake. And that was all he sent me. I get it in my work email. And so I pick up the phone and I call him, and he says, it sounds like Menifee is going to come on the market from corporate. I want to buy it. And we've talked about moving, and it just kind of all made sense. So we were probably spending at that time 6 to 7 days a week in this area anyways, with me working at the college, and then, him being at, in Paris or in Lake Elsinore 6-7 days a week. So it really didn't make sense that we were still commuting. And one thing we really love and pride on is the community atmosphere. And so we knew if we lived in the area, we could have a much more bigger impact on the community and the world. And so we made the decision, started our kids in school down here. And by November of 2017, we had moved down here. And short, quick, funny story is the day after Chad told me that we were buying corporate and moving is when I ran into Tina at the gym. She had just started working for us, and I had said, hey, you know, if you could put us on the gate in Canyon Lake, we want to drive around, check it out. We might be moving to the area. We're considering it. And she said, actually, Saturday I'm going to be going out in the water with Brittany. If you guys want to come, feel free to join us. So we ended up spending the day with Tina and Brittany in Canyon Lake. Probably had a little too much fun. I know Tina knows what I'm talking about. And that actually just made our decision. So we ended up moving here in November of 2017, and it's been the best decision in our life. I want to close with just sharing a little something with you about being in the community for the last couple years. So probably from June of 2017 to September of 2019, a lot of you are well aware, but those were probably the worst 2 years of our entire life as a family. Personally, long story short, I've had 3 surgeries in those 2 years. I had 2 broken bones, and none of those which were camp related, surprisingly. I was diagnosed with early onset arthritis of my hip and both knees, and was told by a doctor that I should never work out again, high impact training, and I should only swim, which was completely detrimental. When I have that, I actually have it in my medical record. My boss passed away in those 2 years. My dad passed away, as most of you are aware, especially from my post yesterday. My son got a tumor that he had to have surgery and have removed. And then my mom had a second heart attack. And so those 2 years of my life, I feel truly was like a test to who I am as a person, to my character. And I had a decision to make over those 2 years because I suffered from a lot of anxiety. I've suffered from depression. I've had a lot of underlying mental health issues. When my mom had her second heart attack, I had extreme PTSD, having to go through the same ICU, ER, doctors, everything that I had to go through with my dad last year. And it was a test. I had a choice to make, and my family had a choice to make. Were we going to be resilient and rise up and try to be strong for our kids and for our family and for our community? Or were we going to be vulnerable to everything that's happened and just, fold and not do anything? And you know what? There were times that I was very vulnerable. There were times that I didn't know what to do to move forward. There were very, very evil thoughts going through my mind at times. And I want to share with you guys today that the camp is probably, and my AFF in Elsinore and Menifee are the reason that I was able to pull through so strong those 2 years. When I'm not at the camp or I can't work out, my mental health is not intact. This has been a very difficult time, this quarantine, for everybody, but let me tell you, getting on here and seeing everybody share their stories and share their testimonials is what keeps me going. Seeing people on the live workouts, or if I'm going to watch a workout and do it later, that's my motivation to keep going. You guys are the reason that Chad and I love to work so hard for the gyms to try to make it what it is, because you're the reason that we are here. We've always wanted to help people. I still help people at the college in my day job, and we're doing everything in our power to support and help you guys. And we hope that you guys know how important you guys are to us, and we love you guys so very much. This is part of the reason we love to give back so much. We do so many fundraisers. We know that at the end of last year, we kind of felt like we were fundraiser burnout, but giving back to the community and giving back to people in need is really what we pride on. This month's Autism Awareness Month. We're so bummed we can't have our Fitness After Dark. I'm wearing my shirt though. So we still like to raise awareness for all causes. So I just want to end with, thanking you guys for everything that you've done for us and our family, for supporting us, especially through this hard time, and sticking with us, because we will be back to the gym. We will be back in that environment and atmosphere that we love so much, and be able to see each other and hug each other again, and, actually shake hands and fist pump and not have to keep 6 feet apart. But if you guys are able and willing to, I posted yesterday, we're going to be doing a blood drive. This doesn't cost any money, and you're still going to be not only impacting lives that are in need of blood, but you're going to be saving lives as well. So we'd love to see you guys down there May 4th. Check out my post from yesterday. Look at the flyer. It's going to be by appointment because we want to maintain social distancing as the CDC is recommending or requiring at this point. And we hope to see you there May 4th. I know I went over my time a little bit, but it's because of you guys that we're so passionate about who we are and what we do, and we love you guys so much. So I didn't check any of the comments on there, but I'll go on and I will comment as you guys post more comments throughout the day. All right, we'll see you guys soon. Hope to have some good news after, the government's press conference tomorrow as we roll out the slow, open up of businesses in our world. But we love you guys, and we will chat soon. Take care.